Hello traders, I trust that you're doing well and welcome to another technical video with OpressFX. So in this video I'll be going through the market breakdown from Monday the 21st of September all the way to the 25th Friday of September. So we'll just look at any news releases that we have for this week. So this is Monday today. Today is fairly quiet, but we have a news release at 4 p.m. It's USD news. So this one will definitely be affecting the GBPUSD and EURUSD. So just please be wary, guys, if you're still in those trades. I think by now our trades should be well over break even. So we'll see what the market does with this news impact. And then going for tomorrow, we have early news at 9:30. This is high impact news. It's gonna affect the pound. So as we do our analysis, we'll see what the news can potentially do in terms of price action on the pound dollar. So this news event, I'm expecting it to affect EURGBP and GBPUSD. Then later on we have 4:30, we've got more news events. It's the Fed Chair Powell testifies. So normally when we have a Fed Chair Powell news event, it normally does move the market a lot. This is from past history, so we'll see how this one affects the news. So this one, how it affects the market. Sorry. Well, Wednesday, 23rd of September, we got morning early news at 4 a.m. So if you're trading the Kiwi dollar, that's one news event that you should be careful of. And later that morning, we have Euro news 9:15 in the morning. Then we also have more news events 9:30 in the morning. So this is quite a jam-packed day in terms of news for the euro. And then later on at 3:45, we also got one more news event at 3:45, and then lastly at 4 o'clock we've got another high impact bulletin. And Thursday the 24th, we've got chef news at 9:30. So if you're trading any chef based pairs, expect some market movements around that time. And then later on the day, 4 p.m, we've got USD news. Both a Fed Powell bulletin and then a Treasury Sec Muchin speaks. So, but we'll see when we do our analysis what the news can potentially do on the markets. And then Friday the 25th, there's no news events. It's a fairly quiet day in the markets. So now I'm going to flip to the charts so that we'll be able to gauge where price is going and what to potentially expect this week. So first of all, we'll look at the dollar index. So like I've been explaining, guys, in the prior webinars, price has been stuck in this consolidation range for quite a while now, and what we are seeing some bullish movement around these levels. Price just broke the inner trend line and it's currently trading at 93. So what I've been explaining is I'm expecting price to break above this region to come tested as support before price shoots up and hits the outer trend line. So I think maybe the year will close price around about these levels, but the elections in America are really highly anticipated, so definitely the elections are going to have a big impact on the dollar. So this one I'll be keeping an eye on the dollar. So but my bias for now, I'm expecting the dollar to shoot up. And then if the dollar shoots up, remember guys, we'll have a negative impact on the Euro USD and the GBP USD. So on the dollar index, there's nothing much I can say now because price is still in this consolidation. So let me just drop down to the 4 hour to see if there's any potential signs for price going up. So on the 4 hours, guys, we're on the 4 hours. So price, like I said, based on the daily, it broke the inner trend line. So what can we expect from here is for price to rebound lower before breaking up to the upside. So, and also we have that area of resistance, which was a prior day high on the 9th of September. So if price breaks above, we could be expecting for price to go on the upside. All right, so let's get into the pairs that we traded last week. So first on the list that we'll look at is the EURUSD. So this is one of my favorite pairs. Like I've always said, guys, it's the world's most traded pair, and there's a lot of like volatility in this pair. The setups are really clear. So just to recap on last week's trade, so we took this short trade from last week and we held it for about like 3 to 4 days now. So let me just remove that. Okay, so jump back onto the daily quickly, guys. So on the daily we have like choppy price action. As you can see, we have prices stuck in this channel. Prices stuck in this channel. This was the news event that happened last week, which gave a false breakout. All right, so price is currently stuck in this channel. Let me just adjust that nicely. It's stuck in a channel, and we haven't really had like a clear break of price because price has been trading within this zone. So, but if you look carefully, we had price coming off the high. We had price coming off the high at that zone there. And then it looks like price was starting to form a high-low at that region there. So this is a high, low, and then those are high, low. And then we had a multiple spike rejection. With a multiple spike rejection around that region, around this region here. You can see price is failing to break around the 1.18653 zone. So I had like a lot of rejections telling us that price is failing to break and we should be expecting some moves onto the downside. So based off just this piece of information, we can pull up our fib to see where we can expect price to go to. So we had price rejecting the 61.8. This was on the 10th of September, and then we had further rejections on the 11th, 14th, and then we had the final rejection just between the 50 and 61.8 on the 15th of September, and then price rolled over. So we could be expecting price to drop even lower up to these levels as soon as it breaks this recent area of support. We could expect price to fall even lower to come we could expect price to fall lower to come into the 1.16819 territory, hopefully to close off the year. So if I go now to the 4 hours, so this is where we took our trade last week. We took our trade within this zone. If you remember clearly, we had marked out this zone, and I'd said that let's wait for price to jump back in that liquidity area before we could take a short trade from those regions and then have our target at the previous area of support. So at the moment, price is really falling nicely, and this is Monday, so we had like a big push to the downside, and then closing up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 4-hour candles. So it closed, one candle closed up 40 hours of price action, so which is a really strong push to the downside, and this is strong bearish intent. So what to expect, guys, on this pair at the moment is a push to the upside. is a push to the upside, just to give us a short-term retracement before price will continue to rally downside. So this is our target, which we anticipate, but if price breaks this region, price will go to the target that I'd explained on the fib. So in terms of like price structure rules that we can use, this was the recent swing low on this uptrend, so we could definitely expect price to pull back up into this region. This is around about a 36 pip, 37 pip retracement before we can take any further short trades at that level, and then having our stops really super tight, guys, and then before we take a trade there. So we want to see price to come back to that region before we take a trade to the downside. So that's USD, that's EURUSD, guys. So on this one, I'm waiting for price to pull back. If it does pull back, I'm waiting for price to come to that level, but we still have our trades locked in from the high, so I'm still expecting price to pull back, and then before price dropping all the way down. Then the next one on the list, guys, is GBPUSD. So it's a similar setup to EURUSD. Let me just jump onto the daily. So on the daily, we had that big impulse move, and then we had a correction. We had a corrective phase. Which took, so 11th, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we had 5 days of correction, also known as a pullback. And then if you remember clearly, guys, with our fib that we pulled up here, we had our fib pulled up here. So price didn't necessarily go to a fib level, but we had a strong resistance at 1.3000, which is a significant key level for this specific pair. And you can see, guys, we had 1, 2, and then we had a third and final day of rejection at that level, telling us that price is failing to break above and the bears are starting to gain momentum in the market. And also another point to consider was that we had this liquidity pool here, this liquidity structure here, right on that key level, which helped us to take nice sniper entries. So I'm going to drop down to the 4 hours now. So this was that area of liquidity that I had marked out. If you guys remember clearly in the members group, I marked out that area of liquidity, this being the liquidity candle. Yep, this being the liquidity candle. This one here. And then I'd said that, guys, wait for price to come back within this blue shaded region before we take a short trade. So we had our trades taken right at the edge of the spikes, guys, with little drawdown. So that's the nice thing about taking trades at extreme highs or extreme lows. The chances of drawdown are really low, like really like use small stops. Because remember with this one, we had our stops just above this high here. So I think we're at like 30 pip stop loss, so it's just fairly tight. And then we had our target, the first target at that region, and then and our second target I explained in prior videos, which is all the way down here in that big area of liquidity. So this one, there's still a lot of movement that we can expect in the coming weeks. So for this week, like I said, we're still holding our trade. Our trade is about 160 pip profit. So it's still a good trade. So one thing to consider on this one, similar setup as the EURUSD, is to expect price to pull back within this region before we can take another short trade. So this one, I'm really waiting for price to pull up in these regions, see what it does in these regions, because we also had that massive that massive engulfing candle engulfing a lot of price action. So I'm waiting for price to come back into this region for me to be able to take a trade from there, and then for price to push further to the downside. And then the last pair that we're going to look at, it's EURGBP. So GBP, let's go down to the daily, go up to the daily. So from the daily, if you remember clearly, guys, from the previous posts, we said that. I'll just remove that. On this one, we had this equal low that formed, and then we had price and then price broke this descending channel, and price broke the descending channel. So unfortunately we missed that first entry early in the month, but we managed to get a nice trade around those levels here. So let's jump down to the 4 hours. So as explained, guys, this was the setup that we had last week. We had a minor descending channel, pricing slowing down in momentum, and then we had our pending order, if you guys remember, at that level here. So our trades got triggered. So the pending orders were placed at the edge of that spike. Then our stops were just below that area here, and then so that big candle triggered in our price, and then price moved up, and then but we're currently on break even now on this pair. And then price pushed up nicely, and then it pulled back. So as you can see, guys, we're currently in an uptrend. Let me just blow this up. Currently in an uptrend. Okay, I'm trying to get this to, okay. We're in an uptrend, so that was a low, high, also a high low, and then we're currently on a high low here. So one thing to consider, guys, here is to, and also you can see we've got this minor, ascending, descending channel. Got this minor descending channel, and then price broke aggressively around the levels, pulled back here. So there could be a possible long trade setup around these levels here. So but I want to see how this candle closes. So let me drop down to a small time frame to see if I can get any possible entry on this one. So on this one, guys, I'm waiting to see what price does at these levels. So if price for me closes above this region here, I'll be waiting to take my long trade setup, and then I can have my stop loss just slightly below here. So I can put a pending order. You guys can put a pending order, a buy limit, and so a buy stop that region. And then in terms of our target, guys, we can still have our target at the beginning of the downtrend here, and then but remember, long term we're still looking at 0.95 thousand. So for now, that's my possible outlook on EURGBP, is for us to have a pending order around that region. So if price breaks this region and retest it, we can have a nice push to the upside. So remember, if if EURGBP pushes to the upside, let's pull this up. So if EURGBP pushes to the upside, we can have an inverse move on the pound dollar. Right, so guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll be updating the members page for possible setups, and thank you so much, guys.